Shop Dog is getting some pets and pretzels. Diesel and Pixie are getting themselves put together. I think today is a pretty simple day. He's talking about doing some cleanup and, you know, washing the car down. He brought all his fancy gear. So get her vacuumed out, get her cleaned up. You know, it's time for that. You know, we did make a mess in here playing with the pedals and stuff, and it's gotten dusty in the shop over the years. You know, the almost 3 years it's
almost
been
3
here.
years, yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot left on our list. We do want to add the front camera. You know, that'll be in the spring, I think. We've got to put some dum-dum in a few places where we drilled in the back, just so that we don't get moisture into the well. We're hoping this brake issue is done. We've had no chance to really test the transfer kickdown, and the cruise we think doesn't work, but we're not sure why, but we're not sure that we're all set up. But until the car's aligned, we really don't want to drive it a bunch to test all that. So that's, as far as we know, the only problems we have at this point. So, welcome back to a Pontiac video. Alright, Diesel is going to walk us through his cleaning regime here.
So we've had this car now in the shop a couple of years. We washed it twice. We washed it, I think probably episode 3 or episode 2. We rolled it out and washed it.
In the snow.
Yeah, in the snow. And then we washed it, a couple of months ago. And it's not really dirty in the shop, but it gets a little dusty. And what we thought we'd do today is see what needs to be polished, see if there's any big major swirls or scratches. The paint's probably 15 years old, and thought we'd give it a good look-see because we really didn't. So process I'm going to do today is I'm working on a spray-on car wash. If it was summer, we'd roll it out and wash it, but we don't need to. And again, it's not really that dirty. I'm going to do some clay barring. Clay bar is kind of nice because you get this moist, a little bit of the speed shine, and it'll take anything off. For example, this little thing right here, that might be in the paint. It might be just something stuck to the paint. Clay bar will take that kind of stuff off. Really.
Yeah, that could be from sand on the road.
Could be all sorts of stuff. And then what we'll do is we'll use any of these spray-on waxes. We'll do that. I've got some hard wax as well we might put on. But between these two steps, if we see anything that needs polished, I brought the big polish machine, brought a bunch of pads, a bunch of correcting cream and foam, and we'll just polish out whatever we need. So we'll see.
And you'll find and identify all the flaws. We know about the one flaw here where I scratched it, you know, and I'm pretty sure there's a flaw up in there somewhere from the hood.
A couple here. I saw, you know, there's one lower down on the door. Again, they're tiny little nicks that when you look at the entire car, they don't catch your eye, and that's really the idea. Here's something that I'm going to look for when you got a dry hand, and I just rub it here. You hear how scratchy it is?
Yeah, you can hear it from here. Well, I don't know if they can hear it online, but I can.
Yeah, clay bar.
More importantly, you can feel it.
Yeah, you can really feel it. So clay barring will take care of that. It'll give it a really nice smooth shine. And again, not really looking at the paint too much. I see, you know, a little bit of striping. You know, again, it was how the paint was laid on. That is what it is. You only fix that by repainting the car.
One of the things I want to focus on, because I'm curious if it improves, is, and I hope the camera's picking it up, is when you look at the light on the paint, it's kind of wavy. Yeah. You know, coming from those. So I'm curious in a few hours what that looks like.
Yeah. We'll get the buffer on it.
So, all right, get to work.
There you go.
And for those of us that aren't 7 feet tall, you got to get a nice little stool. Okay, so he's clay barring on the hood.
So you do it in small little patches. Use a little bit of that speed shine. You can see the crud, even though it's been washed a couple of times, and we wiped it all down with the waterless car wash. It's still picking crud up. And if you feel here, this feels nice and smooth compared to the scratchy stuff we saw here. So this hood, we'll get this all cleaned up with clay bar, and it should be nice and smooth, and then we'll see if we've got anything we've got to polish out.
Well, and my experience has been the worst parts are below the belt line, where no one actually cleans the car.
Unfortunately, people don't usually see. Yeah, look at that. That already looks a lot better. And feel that now.
Yeah, that's silky smooth already, and that's all you've done so far is just, you know, take the sand and dust and stuff that gets stuck in the paint when you're driving down the road.
It sticks. Even after you wash it, it's still there.
Oh, well, that's why the glass eventually gets so hazy. It's slowly being mildly sandblasted as you drive.
Especially in Colorado, we saw that a lot. Windshields went really fast because of all the dirt.
And the wind.
Windshields just,
License plates.
Yeah, license plates too.
Yeah, well, Colorado's kind of a free-for-all state.
Yes.
All right, let's check and see how things have been going.
So we got the hood all clay barred, we got the fenders, we got the roof all clay barred. We're ready to polish this a little bit. I'm going to use something that's mild because there's not a lot of scratches. I can just see some directional stuff in here from people washing and wiping.
And an obvious flaw when they painted it.
Yeah, you can see it was obviously a little scarred underneath and paint went on, and I didn't notice it until Pix picked it out. She saw it.
I don't think you'd see it outside.
You really can't. If the hood's up, you really can't see it. And other than that, for things that I went through, there's a little mark up here in the roof where the roof rack was. This was the front mount for the roof rack, but I knew about that. Previous owner told me that that was there. But you can't see anything else from evidence of a roof rack. And, you know, other than a couple of minor nicks, really, there's nothing too bad on it.
So you're saying it's probably not going to just turn into a ball of rust tomorrow?
No, not at all.
So, all right, well, get to polishing and we'll come back and see what that looks like.
We'll see what it looks like.
Okay, so it's actually polishing along. He's finding tiny flaws. The biggest thing is all these vertical scratches from a towel or something are disappearing. And unfortunately, the orange peel isn't, but that's not uncommon. So it's gonna look pretty good. ShopDog is so excited, he can't even help it. Sid came to collect some scrap metal and
You got a gas tank over here to get rid of too?
oh yeah, there's a fuel tank over there. It's made out of metal too. And you can see he's in here just a polishing away and polishing on the little buggy that, you know, they did crush once, but we got it mostly straight. Yeah, it was under a lift when the lift came down, and yeah, it turns out 5,000 pounds for that little buggy. Yeah, that thing bent.
We'll crush it in a second.
This is what it takes to get up on the roof, even with the car lowered. Look at that. It's starting to look like a car. Actually, it looked like a car before, but it's looking like a shiny car. Oh, somebody left a little bit of polish right here.
No.
Can't even believe it.
Never win a car show with that.
Hey, ShopDog's supervising. He doesn't accept that. And I just took ShopDog in because he's got to check on Mama, who was making some scorpion pepper hot sauce. Once again, Merry Christmas. And let's go in and see how Diesel's doing on his waxing job. Looks like he's still working. Somebody's got to do it, though.
Arm's getting sore.
It's good for you. Let's check in for an update. It's been like 100 hours. So how are things going, Diesel?
So polish is about done. Pix is putting some wax on the hood. I think this roof is probably as good as it's going to get. It'll get some wax here, and we should be able to wrap it up.
All right, perfect. It's
Wax on, wax off.
wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. We all watched that movie. Okay. They feel that they're at a point where they know all the flaws.
Is that
So
it?
apparently there was one right there.
Right there.
There's something right there.
You left
See, he
finger
keeps
marks.
leaving finger marks and all kinds of problems. And
Not that. You're leaving
and the boss is going to point them out. Because she's been waxing this for hours. It is a lot shinier. You do see the orange peel, which is typical of this style paint. And honestly, it's still better than the factory paint. See, this is what it means to be married right there. You got somebody pointing it out. Yes.
All afternoon.
The important thing is, look how nice this car looks. Let's look inside real quick. Now remember, all this gets reupholstered. Got the nice new mats. We did the dash, the custom heating, the custom controls, obviously the custom climate control, the new wiring. He's got the stereo set up, you know, the AirPod thing in the back in the well. All of these will be reskinned. This is a really cool car. And unfortunately, before too much longer, this car is going to leave for a while because it is winter and there's not a lot more for us to do until we can drive it again. And it's kind of bittersweet and sad. So, all right, guys, for episode 101. Oh, how many miles did you put on your own car driving up here every Sunday?
So over 100 episodes. For a car that only has 34,000 miles on it, we put 8,000 miles driving back and forth for Sundays to work on this car.
And you guys live 35 minutes away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of drive time. 8,000 miles.
Just to come up and play with the toy. So, yeah. Anyway, what do you got to say?
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
watching.
watching.